Hi everyone, it's Laverne and I'm really excited to bring you today's Southern Revelations, primarily because it involves a memory of my dad. In Ephesians, when it talks about us putting on the whole armor of God, he warns us that we need to do so because of the wiles of the devil. And I love that word, the wiles, because it reminds us that the devil is a deceiver. He's crafty, he's sneaky, and he would have to be because, quite frankly, if any of us could see him coming, who wouldn't run? Who wouldn't run to God? But this particular Southern Revelation is awesome. I don't have a specific verse to take you to. It's just a memory of my dad that God has used to teach me a life lesson, a Southern revelation. My dad was not a common or frequent prankster, but he had a wicked sense of humor. And so when he did pull a prank, it was usually a really good one. And they used to love to camp, my mom and dad, and they camped with my Uncle Ray and my Aunt Ruby a lot, along with some other aunts and uncles. This particular story involves Uncle Ray. Mom and Dad had went to town and they had bought a TV for their camper. And this was back in the olden days of VCRs when the TVs first came out with the built-in VCRs. And they had bought a little 19-inch TV with a VCR and put it in their camper so they could watch VCR tapes, VHS tapes. Because it was before the common RV had satellite or parks had cable hookups. These were in the dark ages. These memories. So anyway, my uncle was so impressed by this new little gadget my dad had that he went straight to Walmart, the same Walmart where my dad had bought his TV, and he bought his own TV. And one morning, my dad got up and was sitting outside drinking coffee, and he was looking at my uncle's RV, and he realized that my uncle was sitting in the kitchen of his RV and he was watching the news on his brand new TV. He had his antenna up and he's drinking his coffee and he's watching the news. And my dad, with his wicked sense of humor, decided to try something, and he went in the RV and he got his remote control to his TV that he had bought at the local Walmart, the same place my uncle had gone and bought his new TV. And my dad snuck over to my uncle's RV and stood outside his kitchen window and would turn the TV channel with the remote. And my uncle's TV responded to my dad's remote, and the channel changed. And my uncle, he grabbed his remote and put it back on the right channel, and my dad did it again. And so there's this war, this battle of remotes going on that my uncle did not even realize that he was a part of. He kept banging his remote on the table and fussing at the TV, and the story goes that this was before my uncle was saved. So when he was fussing, he was probably getting pretty angry at that TV. And my dad would turn the volume down and my uncle would turn it up. This probably went on for a good 5 minutes before my uncle got mad enough. He was probably ready to throw the remote and the TV out the window. And my dad got tickled enough that he started laughing and gave himself away to my uncle. But today, what God did was he used that memory to give me a Southern revelation. You know, we've been talking about the enemy, and we've been talking about being in a spiritual battle. And the reality of it is a lot of times the enemy is lurking outside of our lives, just looking for those sneaky, crafty ways that he can impact our lives that we don't even realize it's him. We think that we blame something else or someone else in our lives for the problems that we're having, for things that aren't working right in our lives. And we don't even really recognize the enemy that is truly working on the outskirts of our lives to impact our day-to-day ability to accomplish things. And I think that's the Southern revelation that God gave me, is we have to remember to look for the enemy, the true enemy behind the problems that we're having. And this was a study that I did. This was a lesson in a study that I did a few months back with a study group, and we used Priscilla Shearer's book, Fervent. And one of the lessons that she did was on recognizing who your true enemy is in a spiritual battle or in a life problem. It's not necessarily the person that is making you angry, or the car that won't start, or the bill that you don't have money to pay, but it may be the true enemy is the devil that's on the outskirts making all these things happen inside your life. How awesome is that God would use such a precious memory of my dad to give us today a chuckle and an aha moment on a Southern Revelation. I hope it blessed you, and I hope that today as you go throughout your day, if you're facing challenges, you'll look for the real enemy behind that challenge. Amen. And that way you'll know who to go to solve that problem or help you fight that battle. You have a blessed day.